Coming up on this week's travel show. Looted, traded and trafficked. Italy's Museum of Stolen Art.
In generale ha milioni di opere che sono state recuperate dai carabinieri.
Lucy has her hands full over the English Channel.
The most popular animal companion that we like to travel with. Man's best friend. I mean, who doesn't love a dog?
And Omar climbs into the City of Caves. The Eternal City of Rome, one of the most visited places in Europe. Every time I come here, I'm blown away by the food, the history, la dolce vita, and the amazing art you can find here. There are just over 100 known works by the artist Caravaggio. This is one that tourists can come and see, and you can understand why he's able to make a name for himself. This one's just so explicit. But what's really cool is that you can also see his masterpieces in everyday spaces all around Italy, like in churches, for example. But sadly, making artworks more readily accessible also leaves them vulnerable to theft. And one of the most famous examples in history is the disappearance of a massive Caravaggio from a Sicilian church. So, this is how the story goes. The year is 1969. It's October 17th. We're in Sicily. There's a huge rainstorm and the skies are illuminated by lightning and the sounds of thunder. Now, whilst all the locals are asleep, thieves are breaking into a church through a side window. They enter the church and they steal one of Italy's most famous paintings, Caravaggio's Nativity. Now, it's rumored that they cut the painting out of its frame and roll it up into a carpet and steal off into the darkness of the night. Now, it was also rumored that this painting was stolen by one of Sicily's biggest mafia bosses. The painting was also said to have turned up somewhere in Switzerland. But over 50 years later, and still nobody knows what has happened to Caravaggio's Nativity. It's estimated that around $6 billion worth of plundered art is being traded on the global black market every year. So much so that a special branch of Italy's military police, or Carabinieri, is dedicated to tracking down these stolen treasures. Over the years, they've retrieved millions of pieces, and now, for the first time, these recovered artifacts are on display in a brand new museum.
E quindi ci sono qua dei reperti che vengono da tombe, da santuari.
I mean, some of these pieces are amazing. Soon all these relics will be sent back to their original homes across Italy, whilst the new haul comes in. So how many antiquities do you have in the museum?
Qua abbiamo fatto una selezione di 100 opere, ma il museo in generale ha milioni di opere che sono state recuperate dai carabinieri.
Some of which have been trafficked thousands of miles right across the globe.
Questo è stato trovato in pezzi, frammentato, in una tomba, in una grande tomba. E questa tomba è stata scoperta dai tombaroli, quindi hanno fatto delle foto, hanno mandato le foto a un mercante d'arte in Svizzera e il mercante ha trovato negli Stati Uniti uno che voleva comprare il vaso e quindi è finito nel museo Getty Museum in California.
So it's a business. You've got people in Italy, people in Switzerland, people in the United States, all getting paid, and they're all part of this system.
E quindi è un traffico che può essere confrontato con il traffico di droga, il traffico di armi, e economicamente è un po' la stessa importanza.
And I couldn't resist one last question. Nobody knows where the Caravaggio is. I mean, do you know where it is? So have you got it?
No.
And
Not here.
Tracking down the movements of these stolen items isn't easy. But not to be beaten, the Carabinieri are adopting ever more sophisticated techniques, and a change in the law means they can punish criminals more severely.
Ci consente di svolgere indagini anche molto efficaci, utilizzando tutti gli strumenti a disposizione, quindi intercettazioni telefoniche, intercettazioni ambientali, aerofotogrammetria, immersioni subacquee.
In this battle against these criminals, do you think you're winning?
È una battaglia tra intelligenze, l'intelligenza dei carabinieri contro l'intelligenza dei criminali, ma i carabinieri sono più intelligenti.
The Carabinieri's Cultural Protection Heritage Squad have retrieved more than 4.5 million stolen artifacts and relics over the past 50 years. And I've come to their HQ because I've been given special access to the vaults where they keep all the stolen treasures that they've managed to recover.
È un luogo meraviglioso, è un museo vivo.
Could you take me on a tour? I'd love to see more.
Certamente.
It feels a bit like an Aladdin's cave in here, with lots of strange and wonderful things to look at, and the paintings, rows and rows of them. And what's the story behind this piece of artwork? It looks incredible.
È stata rubata in Italia e recuperata all'estero. Uno dei metodi di cui siamo venuti a conoscenza è per esempio il sezionare un'opera d'arte per poter commercializzarla più facilmente.
So they'll just take a little section of the artwork and make money from that.
Yeah.
But there are some success stories. I'm heading an hour north of Rome to Caravaggio and the town's museum. This 2,500-year-old pot, Euphronius Crata, being its most famous artifact. Looted, trafficked, traded, and found, it was eventually negotiated back. These artifacts are about more than just their physical beauty. I feel they're about the link that they have with the land of their origin and the connection that they have with the people from those areas. And that's where the real history lies. It's good to see it back. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, a certain Caravaggio painting will make its way back home too, one day. Right, if you're thinking of heading to Rome anytime soon, here's some travel show tips on some things to maybe see or do while you're here. For something festive this December, head to the Capuchin's Church in Via Veneto for an atmospheric Baroque Christmas concert. And don't forget to head down below the church into those famous crypts decorated by the bones of 4,000 Capuchin monks. Okay, so maybe that part isn't quite so festive. For a complete change of pace, it's not too late to register for the Rome Marathon that takes place in March. It's probably one of the most historic and scenic routes you'll ever do, starting and ending by the Colosseum. There's even the option to complete it as a group of 4, so you just run or power walk part of the race. Now, any guesses on how old Rome is? Well, let me tell you. Next year, the city will celebrate its 2,776th birthday. Natale di Roma takes place on the 21st of April, and essentially it's a massive birthday party. The city is filled with parades, shows and games, plus all the museums will be free to enter. Finally, if you appreciate a good glass of wine, like I do, consider checking out Vino Forum. The 10-day festival in June will be celebrating its 20th year, and visitors will have the opportunity to try some of 2,500 different types of wines available. Wow! Hopefully you'll find something cool there that maybe you'd like to try out if you ever come here. And here's a fascinating fact for you. Did you know that Rome has more water fountains than any other city in the world? Yeah, that's right. Their water bill must be absolutely horrendous. Okay, still to come on this week's programme, Lucy tests out the latest gadgets as she takes a trip with some four-legged friends.
5-star luxury? I think that's a yes.
And Omar goes underground exploring in Turkey.
You can tell it's the Star of David.
What do we look for in a travel companion? Does it matter if they're four-legged, extremely furry and have a wet nose?
More than ever before, we're travelling with our pets and furry four-legged friends, and the most popular animal companion that we like to travel with, man's best friend. I mean, who doesn't love a dog?
In recent years, the demand for dog-friendly hotels, beaches and attractions has been on the rise.
And P&O Ferries have launched this new VIP pet lounge as part of its Dover to Calais service. And just for clarity, that's VIP as in very important pooch.
It means pets no longer have to stay below deck, giving you a chance for some pet pampering while you're there. So we're checking out some of the latest pet gadgets hitting the stores. Now, if you're short of space on your trip but need somewhere for your dog to get some rest, then help could be at hand.
So this is the dog bag, rucksack by day and pop-up kennel by night. It's got loads of handy pockets for all your dog's luggage and makes it quite a brilliant portable home from home. So in theory, it should just pop out of the bag. Hey! Boom, easy. That didn't take long at all. So let's see what Ben thinks. 5-star luxury? I think that's a yes. So the good thing about this is that it's comfier than a plastic or steel crate, or doggy prison, as I like to call them. It's very sturdy, it's easy to carry around. You can also buy accessory packs to line the bed with, depending on the temperature outside. And you know, if you're worried about your dog running riot at a campsite, or you're just looking for a really easy way to transport your dog around, this really isn't a bad solution. I'm just surprised that something like this fits into a rucksack. So the real test will be seeing just how easy it is to get it back in the bag. No, I'm not quite getting that last bit.
I've got to admit, putting it back is not anything like as easy as setting it up. But maybe with a little practice, it could get a whole lot easier.
That is the best I can do.
A recent survey showed 78% of pet owners are driving and flying together, which is the highest percentage ever recorded. And if you're planning a road trip, it's important you have the right kit to keep you and your dog safe. So here's a quick roundup of some of the best in-car tech for your pet. If you have a puppy, you'll need to have a crate for travel, but this is also ideal for smaller dogs. It's crash tested and doubles as a dog bed when you're away. If your dog wears a harness on their walks, then this one can also be used in the car and is crash tested to the standards of child restraint systems. And this gadget you've got to love. Ben here is an old man and not quite as good at jumping up as he used to be, but help is at hand with this portable dog ramp for older dogs and dogs with mobility issues. Lots of us love wearable smart technology. It makes life easier and can be a lot of fun.
So there's fitness trackers for humans, and then there's this, the Paw Fit 2, which is kind of like a fitness tracker, but for dogs.
It connects to an app on your phone and you can make sure your dog is getting their steps in too, and gather fitness data from their walks. And if your dog is a bit of an escape artist, it has an alarm and light to help find them. And check this out, you can also create a virtual fence to get notified if they leave the area.
So this device proves that dog trackers aren't just about locating dogs or finding their favourite hangouts. They're brilliant for tracking your dog's daily exercise, and the fact that you can set activity goals means it's really helpful as a weight management tool as well, and could prevent them from putting on a few extra pounds. And everything is personalised to your dog's breed, age and weight. Now this thing is fully waterproof as well if your pet's got a habit of splashing around in streams or rivers, and you don't need to spend hours searching around for an excitable dog that's gone off in the park thanks to live location tracking. But my best feature has got to be the audio ID tag, which essentially broadcasts the dog's ID to anybody who presses the power button.
It's not very loud and it's quite muffled, but who knows when it will come in handy.
Thank you, Lucy. And also thanks to our four-legged friends, Ben, Ollie and Lady Baby, for helping us out with that too. Now, before we finish this week's show, we're going to head off to Turkey and a place called Midyat. It's in the east of the country, not far from the Syrian border. Recently, loads of films and TV series have been shot there because it looks so stunning. But if you head underground, you'll discover a whole different world. So we sent Omar there to explore.
Welcome to Midyat, a town in southeastern Turkey close to the border with Syria. It's a place steeped in history and has been home to the many civilizations that passed through this area over the last 3,000 years. They've all left their mark up here on the surface, but also underground. During a restoration project to Midyat's older buildings back in 2020, someone from the team discovered a doorway that leads to one of these caves. The more they dug, the more they found.
These underground spaces underneath each house were known to people and they were using it for storage because it's quite cold. But what they didn't know is that they were all connected.
And what an incredible sight. I happily got lost in this network of caves, thought to be at least 1900 years old and estimated to once being inhabited by up to 70,000 people.
Do you know what? A lot of this is quite weathered now, but you can see there's like clear stairs and paths into different rooms. It's thousands of years old. You know what I'm fascinated by is that this stone, solid, but look, it's soft at the same time. How does it do that?
This is limestone, so its texture is like a soft cheese underground and hardens magnificently outside in the open air and sun. It's what a lot of houses in this old district here are made of, and something Midyat is famous for, as well as the caves themselves.
Savaşlardan dolayı yaşam gördüğünüz gibi bu alanlarda işlik, depolama, yatakhane, ahır, ibadet yerleri mevcut olup yaşam olduğu gibi yer altındaydı.
And these cool caverns have attracted a lot of attention since their discovery, with its potential massive size possibly rivaling the famous Cappadocia cave dwellings elsewhere in Turkey.
This is like the first time I don't mind being short. I know it was like 2,000 years ago, the average height must have been like 5'4" or something, but oh God.
I was amazed by the level of detail in some of what I was seeing.
There's crosses, why are there crosses on the wall? Even still, thousands of years, hundreds of years, detail is still amazing.
Though the historians here were still figuring out what rooms served what purpose, some were more obvious than others.
The first Christians lived here to live their religion freely, without any problem, during the rule of the Roman Empire. And these places, we can say that they are necropoles to bury their dead people. Here we can find some the marks of it might be a falcon or the hawk, and it's a symbol of the bird actually, but it's very old and damaged.
And what did that signify?
It might be a tomb of a soldier.
Tomb of a soldier?
Yeah, tomb of a soldier. They buried here.
Even though it's been thousands of years, I know it's damaged,
yeah.
This is still incredibly preserved, isn't it, for you to be able to tell what animal it was?
So the eagle probably is a symbol of a soldier. It might be a eagle or hawk. So we are not sure yet.
Let's leave them to rest. We'll go somewhere else.
So we ventured to another cave they had discovered. A little bit of a tighter fit.
That's a tight space. We're even going to fit there. Look, have a look. Those are small holes.
Throughout the dig, they found many artifacts. We're talking candlesticks, coins, bracelet pieces, rings, and some old valuables, dating back to Roman times in the 1st or 2nd century. But it's thought that the caves could be even older.
Tarihi kaynaklar aslında buranın Asurlular döneminde M.Ö. 9. yüzyılda 2. Aşur Nasirpal tarafından bu bölgenin ele geçirildiğini, hükmü altına alındığını anlatıyordu. Şu an mevcuttaki yerleşimler, mağara konutları 350 bin metrekarelik alan ve bu alan daha da büyüyebilir. Bundan dolayı biz şu an aslında belki dünyanın en büyük yeraltı şehrinde kazı, temizlik çalışması yapıyoruz.
And then we came across a rather big clue that points to this room possibly being a very old Jewish synagogue.
If you look here, you can tell it's the Star of David. It's still quite defined. And it's still quite detailed because, wow, you know, they're telling me that this is what, 1600 years old.
A soldier on the horse.
Soldier on the horse. Oh yeah, I can kind of see it. That's a tiny, that's about the size of my hand, it's a tiny hand. Look, right there, there's a handprint. How are they getting up there?
So far, they've only uncovered roughly 5–10% of the caves, and it will be a while before the truth of Midyat's underground past is properly brought to light.
I'm dusty, I'm tired, but it was worth it. This will attract people. It's a wonder to see, and there's still so much more to discover.
Thank you, Omar. And you know, it's amazing to think of all the amazing history that you'll find out there, which is a little bit like here in Rome. Mind-blowing. Well, that's it from us this week. Make sure you look out for us next week when Ibiza versus type 1 diabetes. DJ Reese Parkinson tests out if you can take on the party island whilst managing your blood sugar levels. Until then, you can find loads of other amazing travel content from the BBC Online by using the tags on your screen. But for now, from me, Adir Depitan, and all the Travel Show team here in Rome, it's ciao for now.